It's a virus tearing through South America and now slowly inching its way into other parts of the world. I'm Matt Barrows.
And I'm Jamie Schmitz. Tonight we talk Zika virus, what it is, what it does, and how it may with your travel-related precautions. These stories and more right here on the Omaha News.
This is the Omaha News, presented by the School of Communication at the University of Nebraska at Omaha, from the studios of UNO Television.
The declaration of the Zika virus as a public health emergency by the World Health Organization has led to more questions than answers. Today, the Omaha News includes team coverage covering the public's biggest concerns relating to the virus. First, reporter Maren Krause explains what you need to know about the viral disease.
The main method of transmission of the Zika virus is through the bite of an infected mosquito from the Aedes genus family. Only 4 out of 5 people who contract Zika have no symptoms. So what makes the disease such a big deal?
There's a fair amount of circumstantial evidence and association that infection with this virus while a mother has a baby in utero can lead to this, can be devastating birth defect called microcephaly.
Microcephaly is a congenital condition where the infant's head does not fully develop. Dr. Mark Rupp from the Division of Infectious Diseases at Nebraska Medical Center says some are more at risk if they contract the disease.
If you were a young woman who was pregnant and you went to Brazil or you went to somewhere in Latin America where this virus was now being spread, sure, you should have some concerns. If you're a young woman who's pregnant here in Nebraska, you essentially have no concern.
And with so many unknowns about the disease, it is important to keep in mind how we should take in updates about the Zika virus.
Look at it from the standpoint of, okay, what are others saying? What are other people with the knowledge base saying about this? Because you can take anything you want and you can blow it out of proportion.
Dr. Pete Iwan is the director of Nebraska's Public Health Laboratory. The lab does testing on diseases that other labs in the state and across the nation have no capability of testing. For the Omaha News, I'm Maren Krause.
Currently, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention has the only lab in the nation conducting specialized tests for the Zika virus. The Nebraska Public Health Laboratory is looking at ways to build the capacity to offer diagnostic tests for physicians and clinics if the need arises.
The FDA is advising those who have traveled to Zika-infected countries that they should wait a month before donating blood. Health officials say they still aren't sure how long Zika stays in the blood, but it's unlikely it is much longer than 10 days. The FDA also announced it will issue guidance on donating human cells, tissues, and products.
A test for the Zika virus could be commercially available within just weeks. Experts say that such a test could help speed research and show public health experts where the virus is spreading. For now, most of the countries on the list are in South America and are popular vacation destinations like Mexico, Jamaica, and the Virgin Islands. The Zika virus has made its way to the United States and now even Nebraska. So has the Zika virus scare changed the way that people travel, or does it stop travel altogether? AAA's travel agency says it's been fielding calls from people with travel plans to Latin America.
Many people, of course, will call us when they hear information in the news, wanting to know more details about it.
As soon as the Ebola virus is under control, another virus seems to be an issue.
The most important thing is just to be aware of what is occurring around the globe.
With the virus starting in South America, you would think that it would halt some travel to that area, but AAA says that is not exactly the case.
Thank you for calling AAA Clock Tower Omaha. This is Maria.
There have been 52 reported cases right now of people in the U.S. who have traveled abroad, who have contracted the virus. And for anyone who's wanting to stay alert of the situation, certainly encourage you to visit the CDC website and stay aware of those countries that are impacted by this virus.
The Center for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, website has the most up-to-date information regarding the virus.
For those traveling to those Zika-affected areas, White wants you to know that there is just a level 2 alert out right now. That means that you can still travel to those areas, but just precautionary measures are recommended.
According to the CDC's website, there have only been travel-associated cases in the U.S. No mosquito-borne cases have been reported here. Because the virus has been linked to a birth defect called microcephaly, women who are pregnant or may become pregnant are advised to take more precautions than others when traveling to the affected areas.
If you have any questions about a place that you may be traveling to, White encourages you to talk to your travel agent. They will be sure to fill you in on any questions regarding your travels.
And still to come, how one Omaha basketball team is making waves for the first time in the Summit League.
And Olympic athletes are gearing up for a trip to Omaha. How and when you can get in on the action down at the CenturyLink. Coming up next on the Omaha News.
Create, innovate, discover. Coneco UNO Library, where scholar meets creative. Located in downtown Omaha, Coneco Library is designed to bridge education and creation. For students and community members alike, both loud in expression and quiet in nature, encouraging forward thinkers to collaborate in a beautiful space of creative scholarly consciousness. Coneco UNO Library, open space for your mind where momentum is accomplished.
I knew as a music teacher that there were festivals for piano students and that type of thing going up, but there was no real public recognition of children's achievements in music until they got to be in high school.
I was embarrassed because I was in middle school, but it was interesting because I didn't think I was good at that point because, you know, you're middle school, you're just, you could be best in the orchestra, but you're not sure.
I just remember the joy and the giddiness that these students had. They loved coming to the station and having a tour of the station, and it really meant a lot to them to actually have an interview at this radio station, and they were all so excited and so passionate about music.
When I became a classical kid, I got to go to the Gilsha Hum concert at the Jazz and Art Museum, and that concert completely changed my life. Being a classical kid really changed the thought of, could I do music professionally? It was really nice winning something like that. It was pretty good.
The classical kids idea was one that stuck because KVNO is all about classical music. It was perfect.
You're watching the Omaha News.
The UNO men's basketball team is currently on a 2-game winning streak and is in 3rd place in the Summit League. Alex Abler visited with the team to talk about its run for the league championship. Alex Abler joins us from the newsroom.
Thanks, Matt. The first thing on any D1 basketball team's to-do list is to secure a spot in the league tournament. The 17-10 UNO Mavericks are beginning to close the gap in the Summit League standings. 9-year head coach Darren Hansen used one word to sum up his team this year.
They've been resilient, and they've looked at the next game, and they've played well. So hopefully, like I said, it's only not happened probably once. We hope we can change that.
The UNO Mavericks made it to the CIT tournament 2 years ago. The biggest difference between the CBI and CIT versus the NIT and NCAA is funding.
NIT is owned by the NCAA. So that's another reason that they will not allow you to play in the NIT tournament. The CBI and CIT tournaments are independent tournaments, so you can get to those.
Win and loss column aside, the UNO Mavericks in their first season of D1 postseason eligibility are certainly out here to prove that they are here to stay. UNO senior forward and Wichita State transfer Jake White says that any kind of postseason tournament would mean a lot to him and his whole team.
Huge, just for me personally, I absolutely love, March Madness. With the new guys and building chemistry, that's been the #1 goal is to be able to go to NCAA tournament because there's nothing else like it.
More saves it for Hollins. Hollins small with 2-on-1. Hollins bounce pass. Reed jams it home. Oh my, Randy!
The UNO Mavericks left Monday for a long road trip. Their next home game will be senior night at the Baxter Arena next Thursday. MavRadio.fm will be covering women's basketball tonight versus IUPUI. Mav Radio's coverage begins at 9:55 p.m. Mav Radio will also be covering UNO hockey versus St. Cloud State at 6:50 p.m. both Friday and Saturday. You can listen to Mav Radio on 90.7 HD2, mavradio.fm on your web browser, or download the TuneIn app and follow Mav Radio UNO. Back to you, Matt.
Thanks, Alex. Go Mavs. With the 2016 Summer Olympics less than 6 months away, single-day tickets for the 2016 Olympic swim trials go on sale February 22nd. Single-day tickets are good for admittance to each day's preliminary and final sessions. Tickets for Sunday, June 26th, Saturday, July 2nd, range from $55 to $70. Tickets for Sunday, July 3rd will cost between $40 and $50. You can purchase tickets at Ticketmaster.com or at the CenturyLink Center box office.
One way the Omaha Police Department will deal with this large crowd will be through its mounted patrol. Donating for a good cause is rewarding in many ways, and Ashley Chisholm shows us how you can help support Omaha's mounted patrol unit.
The connection between a horse and a rider is like no other. Sergeant Tammy Mitchell of the Omaha Mounted Patrol Unit says being on horseback helps bridge the gap between the community and the police department in many ways. Donations from citizens and local businesses show just that.
Anything from shavings to salt blocks to, well, horses, we've had some donated farrier services. We've had donated vaccinations.
The Citizens Foundation for the Omaha Mounted Patrol is a nonprofit group. It was formed to help the unit accept donations and to aid our local heroes. You can donate tack, food, brushes, or bedding, but the main thing that these officers need are horses.
We really do. And we've talked to some people, and the winter's been a little harsh, so it's hard for especially western Nebraska. They got hit really hard by that snowstorm. So as soon as things start clearing up on a regular basis, we're going to go out and look at some donated horses and see what we can find there.
The unit trains the horses themselves, and for Officer Richard Stickney, who is also an instructor for the unit, says he's been riding his horse JJ for about a year.
He's one of them that the foundation purchased for us. He came from a ranch that was about 3 hours away from here, so that's mostly what he had done his entire life, so coming in the city was something different for him. But he's come along really nicely.
For the Omaha News, I'm Ashley Chisholm.
To find out what to donate, contact the Mounted Patrol Unit for more information.
And still to come, everything today is done electronically, and for some, technology is a foreign language. We'll show you how one Omaha library is working to make seniors more tech savvy.
Salary increases for elected officials can be a hot-button issue. When we come back, we'll tell you about the latest controversy, and that's all in Bellevue. You're watching the Omaha News.
Just recently, Mav Radio has won several awards, both from the Nebraska Broadcasters Association as well as the Broadcast Education Association. And I think it just is proof that our students are doing work that is equivalent, if not surpassing, other students around the nation. So I'm really proud of where we've come, and I can't wait to see where we're going.
Watch ICU Learning English on the Knowledge Network.
A little bit about how you're feeling right now. One thing you would like our viewers to know about this state.
The importance of volunteerism.
What are you saying to folks?
I'm here to discuss these images.
When you can take that knowledge and that expertise and that passion in terms that they're all going to understand.
They need to know the real stories.
I'm Kathy Wyatt. Join us for Consider This each week on NET1.
NET Television expands your mind, enlightens your mind, inspires your mind, educates your mind, entertains your mind. NET Television opens up new worlds to you. Explore, travel, learn, discuss, debate. NET Television keeps you informed. Music, theater, dance, art, news. NET Television awakens your dreams, seeks to serve, strengthens our communities. We are Nebraskans. We are NET Television, Nebraska's PBS station.
You've always known you were a leader, someone who works hard to achieve your goals. You can see it. You can see your success in front of you. You pursue a college education for the old-fashioned reasons, to learn, to make yourself more valuable, to succeed. You need a place that celebrates your ambition and positions you alongside visionary people just like you. You, my friend, belong here, the University of Nebraska at Omaha.
You're watching the Omaha News.
DoSpace is a great place to go learn and get experience with new modern-day technology. Reporter Justin Eidelman goes in-depth on their Cyber Senior program at DoSpace.
Senior citizens around the Omaha Metro have the chance to learn more about their new technology here at the DoSpace on 72nd and Dodge. The elderly community might not be so up to date on the new technology being produced in the market.
So the Cyber Senior program is to help people who might be unfamiliar with technology or even intimidated by it.
Community learning specialist Brian Sarnacki says one-on-one interaction is the best way to teach the elderly students.
It's good that we get to sit down with them one-on-one or in small groups where you can get to know them and get to know why they want to know the technology as well.
Sometimes when seniors come to the DoSpace, they really don't know where to begin. That's why the Cyber Senior program is the most popular and the most intended. Senior citizen Barb Davis is looking to increase her knowledge by coming to the Cyber Senior program.
I just really want to learn technology. I'm not of the generation that learned that, and I am excited and I'm retired and I have time to do it.
Davis visited the DoSpace for the first time for Cyber Seniors and was very impressed.
What I really liked about it was I could get individualized instruction, and the volunteers really could answer my questions and they were patient with me.
The Cyber Senior program is every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. For the Omaha News, I'm Justin Eidelman.
For more information or to register for the Cyber Senior program, visit their website at dospace.org.
Omaha Performing Arts announces it's backing out of a land deal that would have required the city to purchase 3 downtown buildings at the cost of $10 million. The decision came after weeks of public hearings and many concerns that the deal would lead to historic spec building being torn down. Not only is it good news that the city will save money, but another important part of the deal will stay in place. Engineering firm HDR still plans to purchase space from the Omaha Performing Arts to build its global headquarters downtown.
For decades now, salaries have been virtually stagnant for the members of Bellevue City Council. But 2 council members seek to change that, albeit in 2 very different ways. Introduced at Bellevue's most recent city council meeting is a potential change to the salaries of the mayor and the city's council members. Councilman Don Preister is proposing a 36% raise, which based on their current wage of $11,000 per year amounts to a $4,000 increase. On the other hand, Council President Steve Carmichael is proposing a 27% cut. Carmichael says he would rather see the $18,000 of annual savings with his proposal go to much-needed areas like city swimming pools and the Bellevue Fire Department. No one at the meeting spoke out against Carmichael's proposal. However, Preister's was not only met with dissent by a few residents who attended the meeting, but Jason Link thinks that council members' salaries should be something decided by an election ballot, not by a council vote.
It's aggravating the fact that they can vote for themselves and that there's so much, like, the city isn't necessarily in the best shape that it can be.
And Bellevue resident Paige Price agrees. She thinks more money should be invested into beautification projects for Old Town Bellevue.
And all they've done is give them the lighted signs on like Mission Street and what are the other ones? Just like going down Mission Street. And that's all they've done.
I also caught up with 2 local Bellevue business owners, both of which declined to comment on camera, one even citing a fear of possible repercussions against him and his business if he were to speak out against the pay raise. So if you were to summarize in just one word, the feelings of these 2 Bellevue residents:
ridiculous.
The City Council is scheduled to pick up this discussion again and vote on the proposed ordinances on February 22nd.
An Omaha man is heading home after becoming the first successful lung transplant from Nebraska Medicine in 20 years. The 54-year-old received a double lung transplant on January 24th after only being on the wait list for 3 days. He suffered from a disease known as idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis since 2012, a disease that often resulted in respiratory failure and has no cure. The procedure lasted about 6 hours, and the patient is recovering quickly.
A new effort by the students at the University of Nebraska at Omaha will reach high school students all across Nebraska. Jared Kennedy tells us the effort involved letting high schoolers know about jobs in the field of medicine.
The University of Nebraska at Omaha Pre-Health Professionals Club is reaching beyond campus borders with a new initiative to educate high school students about getting into medicine. Club President Saif Nasser says the initiative is called Nebraska Pre-Health.
Students who are involved in the Pre-Health Professionals Club on campus going and speaking to high schools all across the state of Nebraska, not just here in Omaha.
Club Vice President Jenna Christensen is from small-town Nebraska. She says this information is invaluable.
It's important for those students in small towns to have that mentorship. It's something that I wish I had while I was going through school in Fairbury.
Students studying pre-med at University of Nebraska at Omaha have access to high-tech classrooms such as this, but the same is not available at high schools in rural Nebraska.
Someone like myself who was from the small town is interested in going to medical school, going into some kind of health profession, and then returning to rural Nebraska to practice healthcare. So I think it's important that we go grab those kids and get their interests now, and it's just something that I wish I would have had.
Professor Richard Lomnith is the faculty advisor for the club. He says it's all about getting the word out.
To go back and impart some of that information and wisdom on to the students, and be a good resource for answering questions.
For the Omaha News, I'm Jared Kennedy.
And for more information, visit the Nebraska Pre-Health website or email the club directly at unoprehealth@gmail.com.
And coming up after the break, the community is excited for the opening of a popular fast food chain. Waverly Monroe will be with us live at the new location to talk to those anxiously waiting in line.
Plus, why some local establishments feel the city has smudged the good name of their companies. Has it negatively affected their business? That story coming up on the Omaha News.
UNO TV invites you to take a journey around the world, to lush jungles with endangered species, to exotic lands and different cultures, to lost cities beneath the sands. Travel through time to see ancient secrets on the other side of the world, the growth of the American West, or the start of Nebraska's largest city. Or just explore our state. Find out about Nebraska in World War II. Learn how Omaha has grown since. Discover the effort to renovate its green spaces, the history of one of its most impressive buildings, or look at its internationally recognized university. For over 20 years, UNO TV has produced award-winning documentaries that explore, educate, and enlighten. To find out more, call 402-554-2516 or visit unotv.unomaha.edu.
UNO Television gives students a chance to work in a real studio. Working on the TV crew, students get hands-on experience with lights, camera, and action. Working on a variety of shows gives students a leg up looking for jobs. In fact, many former crew members work at local stations. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience for students to learn the science and art of TV production. UNO TV, student crew, professional staff, award-winning results.
Welcome back. Reporter Waverly Monroe joins us now at the Dodge Plaza Chick-fil-A. Waverly?
Thanks, Matt. People are anticipating the grand opening for the new Chick-fil-A, and to tell you the truth, it's probably the perfect day to do it. It does not feel like mid-February out here right now. These 100 people have been here since 5:30 this morning waiting to get their prize.
It is one of the age-old questions. Is it worth the wait?
Totally worth it.
And for Forrest Hewlett, it is. Every grand opening for Chick-fil-A offers the first 100 people in the city a chance to receive a card loaded with 52 free meals. Dodge Plaza Chick-fil-A owner Ed Duane says the meal is the original.
The meal that is available with this card is our original Chick-fil-A sandwich meal, which includes the Chick-fil-A sandwich, waffle fries, and a medium drink.
The meal card does not expire for a whole year, essentially giving customers a free meal each week.
The whole year, a bunch of friends and I would go get Chick-fil-A for free all the time.
Both Hewlett and Duane suggest bringing outdoor gear to be prepared for the cold night. Though the parking lot is empty now, soon it will be filled with games, tents, and of course, people waiting in line. Pitching a tent is the first task for First 100 Blake and Liz Molly. Blake Molly says he came at 5:30.
And I slept in and came at like 9:30.
Each person who arrives gets their number in line. Molly says that it can be a commitment for those who have busy days.
Some people that thought they could just show up and leave, but once you're registered, you can't leave the premises. So that's why a lot of people don't, it seems like a lot of people don't show up because of that.
Hewlett recalls the last time he was a First 100.
They check to make sure you don't leave, right? And they do it in fun ways. Like they had us all line up and walk through the drive-thru and get like hot cookies and milk.
Hewlett also recommends for anyone going to
show up after I do.
And I'm standing here with Austin Griffith today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Go ahead and tell me what's so great about Chick-fil-A that you're willing to camp overnight to get their free chicken meals?
Okay, yeah, this one's easy. Chick-fil-A is a Christian organization, and I love to come out and be able to support them because they have great service, and as you can see here, they're able to bring the community together and just have a good time.
All right, thank you, Austin. Well, there you have it. Now all these people have to do is wait until tomorrow morning when Duane opens the doors. Back to you, Matt and Jamie.
A controversial list released last week by the health department had many Omahans worried they may lose their favorite restaurants to closure. But as Avery Wink shows us, many of the owners and customers were angered by the list, which they perceived to be unfair.
Last week, a list came out naming 165 restaurants that were to be shut down by the health department for running without permits and not paying fines. In historical Dundee, many of the restaurants were listed. However, many of the restaurants' permits were up to date and were wrongly included on the list. Chris Janisek, owner of Omaha Cupcake, said it was unfair to those who didn't belong.
It had nothing to say about because of a miscommunication in the annual permit fees to be paid, which was at the very last paragraph. So I think they intentionally did that to shame a lot of the businesses and make everyone look bad.
There's some questions raised about whether this list, which has unfairly mentioned some restaurant names, will have any effect on their business, but regular restaurant goer Richard Larson doesn't seem to think so.
I think there's probably some sort of ulterior motive or some sort of other process or procedure that wasn't followed, not necessarily health. So personally, I'm not fazed by it.
While the list may not have hurt business, many owners are questioning the timing and publicity of it. Many say a simple email would have been enough of a reminder to get the fees paid. For the Omaha News, I'm Avery Wink.
Restaurant owners are still paying fees for permits in order to avoid closure and want to remind customers that the list was not for health or safety reasons.
Well, that does it for this week's edition of the Omaha News.
For all of us here, thanks for joining us and good night.
The University of Nebraska at Omaha is a place for tomorrow's leaders, a place where individuals converge on a path to success, getting the attention and direction they need as they begin their career. It's where students take pride in serving Omaha, a city we've invested in for more than 100 years. UNO is a place where greatness begins. The University of Nebraska at Omaha.
Watch the Omaha News Wednesdays at 4 p.m. on the Knowledge Network.